and I'm here with my special guest, Moonwalker Swizz. What's going on, man?
Yo. What's up, everybody? Hold out there in La La Land. It's your boy.
Appreciate you for coming and kicking in with me today.
For sure. You gave me the invite, so I said, why not? Let's do it.
Definitely.
Let's do it.
So what's going on? Talk to me, man. What's going on, man? You got everything going on. I see you doing your thing. You dancing on everyone. You got the music going on. You know what I mean? What's going on? Talk to me, man.
Oh man, it's right now. I'm just letting everything that's in my mind come out. I mean, so it's a long time coming. A lot of people who don't know me don't know about all the talent that I've had and been honing. But for the people who do know me, like as far as put myself out there, they know the dancing side. They know the promoter side. They know like me for being outside. Honestly,
So you also a promoter.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's like when I really pay attention to what's going on as far as the promoter game goes. I'm waiting for myself to really reach a platform where I can really showcase that. I mean, I'm doing it now based on how I promote myself.
Okay.
But you want to talk about like throwing parties, like my right hand man, my best friend right here, Dre, like me and him was doing that when we was in high school.
Yeah.
Throwing big parties, flyers and all stuff like that. But then I started to pay attention to people that I know that are still in it. I'm sitting there like, yo, to me at least, you've been doing this so long, like you should rather have a business, you should be some type of millionaire, you should be rubbing shoulders with a lot of people that will put you in a position to be better. But I'm just looking at it where it's like, it don't look like enough. So
especially as a promoter, you meet people, you should be able to be a venture. Like promoter is a good game if you do your thing and you work on a lot of people and bring a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Like I said, you should be, if you do it for a long period of time, you should be at a certain level where you want to be able to build yourself and build a business or a career or how you want to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Because it's just like, if you just doing it just for the sake of, being a socialite, is like, yo, you missing, like you missing all the benefits to what you're supposed to really be doing. And that's why I say, like, looking at people that I know out there, it's just like, it just look like you want to be popular.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be forgotten. So this is the best way for it to work for you. And it's just like, well, you're getting older now. So to me, it looks very mediocre how you do it these days because you still look like you're moving like you in high school.
Yeah.
So
going down in town, I see you with a couple of artists like Cameron and Fab, and you be in the area of where they are. Do you get a chance? Do you ever get a chance to work them, or just how that works?
Alright, for me, like I said, my promotional skills.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? For me, I rub shoulders, get the information, and build relationships. I've been told for a long time that relationships are better than money.
Mm-hmm.
So my situation right now is to create that wealth for relationships.
Alright.
So for me, when I meet these people, it's like, yo, what's up? I'm coming to the door genuine because I've always been told when you love yourself, you will know who love you in return because they'll show it themselves. So for me, coming into this industry and studying it, I've always heard someone doing this person grimy, someone doing this person grimy. So for me, it's like, I don't want my situation to be, when I came in from the gate, it was this. Like, no. I know how to carry myself. I'm very strategic and I'm very aware to what's going on. So for the most part, it's like when I step to you, it's love from the beginning, it's love from the end, and we're gonna leave it like that. If anything transpires to be something different, it's not because it started on my side, and that's what I like about it.
Alright, that's good.
Yeah.
So, as promoter, dancing, the music, which one, like, how did you, alright, the name Moonwalker Swizz, how did you get that in there?
The way it all came together, shout out to my boy Rodney and John down in Texas. When they were living in Long Island, that's where I was raised. One day, like we was all cracking jokes and we was just chilling, and my homeboy John, older brother Rodney, was like, yo, you look like Swizz Beatz. Like he was cracking jokes, he was joking.
When I first met you, I was like, yo, they said Swizz Beatz. I did that when you was Swizz Beatz. I said, Swizz Beatz.
So he's like, yo, you look like Swizz. And then I fought it for a long time because my whole MO was like, yo, I don't look like him. Like, yo, I look like my dad. Like, no, I'm my own man. Like, stop calling me that. But then it trickled down from him to, it's not to say he possessed the world and told the world to say, yo, I look like Swizz. The more and more I start to go outside, it was, yo, you really look like Swizz Beatz. Like, and Swizz Beatz was like pretty much just fresh on the scene. You know what I'm saying? I'm 13 years old and he's rough rided up doing his thing. So you talk about, you see this face on television, you see me just prowling the streets. It's like, yo, you look like Swizz. So my thing, so then as it started to grow, my moniker started to change where it's like, no, you're not just gonna call me Swizz, right? So my thing became now, because at that time in my life, I was a gallus. I said, yo, this is what you go call me. You could call me Swizz Daddy. So Swizz Daddy, so before Swizz Daddy came, I used to have a chipped teeth. So it started off as Swizz Teeth. That's what my homeboy Rodney used to call me. So I'm like, no, we're gonna chop the teeth part out and we're gonna keep it at that. So then as I grew, people started to see me, it just became Swizz. So after that, hold on.
Yeah, you just say, yo, fuck the interview.
Yo, bro, here's right back. I'm doing the interview right now. Facts. Alright. Yeah, so sorry for the interruption. That was my good friend JR. But back to the story. As my homeboy Ronnie gave me that name Swizz, I just always try to find the best way for it to represent me if that was the case. Like, cause like I said, the rest of the world is on some, yo Swizz, you look like Swizz, and I'm just there like, man, listen, if this is gonna work for me and I'm gonna make it work for me, let's take advantage. So that's what I did. And then by the time I got to college, God rest his soul, Michael Jackson, he's one of my greatest inspirations that God ever created. And one day I was playing Moonwalker, and I said to myself, like, yo, this is all a game. Like, that's how I looked at just life or the industry in itself. Like, yo, this is all a game. So then it just popped up on the screen, and I'm like, that's it. Moonwalker Swizz. And it was just after that.
Just went from there?
Like, I never turned back. I never turned back at all.
So, how long have you been dancing?
Since I was kicking in my mother's stomach.
Oh, man. All right, so do you do like competitions and anything, or how does it?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that when I was coming up. I did like Battle Fest and dance competitions in school with Dre. Traveled. I lived, like I said, when I went to school I went to California, so I was in California for 5 years. So I was doing that. So I've been up and about. Like, I'm always up for the challenge. The most recent one I did, what was that? Was at this event called Kill or Be Killed. So that was probably like a year ago or something like that. But rather than that, my thing is to always travel. So I like traveling and going to different people's hoods and do the promotion, but at the same time, it's just like really get a love for wherever that place is.
Okay, so you started, I seen back you do freestyles, and I would see a couple videos you doing freestyles back in the day and all that stuff. What made you want to come back and start doing this again? Like, all right, this is what I want to do.
All right, I never left music. Because like I said, for the most part, for the people who do know me, they know of all my talents versus I was putting it out publicly. So let's say, when I was in high school, used to like spit, have my bars and all that. And then, let's say, yo, I want to take this serious. So shout outs to the whole DBL movement in Long Island. People that I grew up with, my son Hector, my shout outs to my son, Jeremy, Crumbs, Biggs, all of them. So that side of the game, my son Wayne, shout outs to Wayne. One day we was spitting on his block. So I was like, yo, I'll chew you, man. What's good? So bring Helicopter over here. So Helicopter went to school with my older sister. So he brought him on the block. And to me, the only reason why he did better than me, because he had more raps than me. It wasn't because, oh, son is really like killing me bar for bar. He just had way more raps than me. And it was just like, oh, all right, cool. So then he invited me to his crib, and they had the studio at the house. So over there is where I start to hone my skills. Because there were other MCs there. Shout out to my homeboy Shy. Shout out to Dreidel, my boy Baker. Who else? Boss, wherever you at. But it was a list of people, it was a group good MCs who really had talent, who have talent. And we was just all sharpening each other. You know what I'm saying? I was learning something from here. I was learning something from here. But at the same time, like I said, I focused on myself. because I had other inspirations. So I was always learning how to put songs together, really have the craziest punchlines and stuff like that. So by the time I did a mixtape with them, we did a mixtape called Swag Season. I did like 3 tracks on there. And one of the songs that I did was a song called Fly Than the Rest. And when I came out the booth, my homeboy Sha, I believe his uncle was like, yo, like you killed that verse. And it was one of those feelings where it's like, yo, damn, like I'm really, really good at this. But what made it iller was because that was my first time. Well, it wasn't my first time, sorry, in the studio. Because when I really started to really get into rhyming in the studio was when I was living in Florida. I lived in Florida for 2 years in Orlando. So shout out to all my people in the O. And there was a gentleman named Omar that used to invite me to his house, and that's when I used to really rap and get introduced to being in the studio. But it wasn't until I got back to New York where it was like, all right, let's really get it, really take this serious. So now let's really put it out to the public. So after that first mixtape I did with DBL, that whole situation just went into a toxic place where I removed myself from it. And for the most part, shouts to them still. But I started to really hone my craft on my own, especially when I went to Cali for 5 years. So you talk about I'm really making sure where it's like, if I ran into another MC or something like that, it was like what I did with Helicopter. I will never allow another MC to have more raps than me. And then at the same time, it wasn't even just about having the most raps. It's like having the most impactful ones at the same time. So that was my thing.
How you feel about the industry right now compared to how it was before? I know it's a big difference. Everybody say hip hop is dead. I don't think hip hop is dead, but
I mean, hip hop is at the top of the food chain right now because of streaming and everything else. Like these are the numbers. This is the status of where hip hop is. But at the same time, I mean, for what's going on now, it's a very toxic environment.
I don't really think like this new generation of rap. I actually don't call it rap or hip hop. I think it needs its own genre because it's not really rap to me. You know?
I mean, at the same time, I agree, but I disagree because these kids know what they're doing. They know where they're coming from. So even though they'll go on their rants and say, "Oh, we doing this, we doing that," at the end of the day, you was watching another rapper, you got inspired to rap, and whether you're mumbling or you just saying some real stupid stuff that has no message, no substance, overall you're rapping. And granted, the older generation might say, yo, that's corny, that's whack, and it be truthful, but at the same time, I believe you still need to find the time to cultivate these young men and women to be better if this is what they're gonna do. Because at the end of the day, for this whack stuff, these kids are making a lucrative amount of money.
Yeah, I think it's easier right now in the rap game than it was back then because you got the streaming. Like, all you gotta do is put a video or put it on a site and people go
1, 2, 3.
And you there, like that's it.
1, 2, 3.
Back then, you didn't have that. You gotta really go out there and grind and give your mixtape out, give your tape out, people so they can really hear you.
That's the part I like.
The grind?
The grind. I ain't gonna hold you because to me, a lot of beautiful stuff come out from the grind because it's like you really fighting to get in. You know what I'm saying? Versus like you just said, you could, you know what I'm saying? You talk about you just one click of a video and you popping. Yeah. One click of a song you popping. But to me, it's like I like doing the groundwork. I like really traveling and going to these places, these events, like a South by Southwest, go to the A, go to California. And not just for the sake of, yo, I got a song out, but it's like y'all really wanna be in these places. I really, like I said, the building of the relationships. Some of these kids who are coming up probably don't even have those relationships. And those relationships don't probably come until a bigger label says, yo, come mess with us. I'll give you a joint deal or whatever they're gonna do. And then these situations start because more times artists can possibly look at these new artists and say, just because they popping, that don't mean I wanna work with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like how many of the new artists right now is working with other established artists that are in the industry. These kids are just getting their money off 1 or 2 songs and saying, yo, middle finger to the rest of y'all. Like, who care? I don't need y'all to be hot because they found the avenue to really get it popping.
Are you trying to make sound so big deal? What would you say independent?
Right now, I'm studying the independent grind. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting my time into that. I'm not knocking if a label wants to come and help, but the thing that I noticed today is to have leverage. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I do sign with a music company or something, it's like, let's do something on partnership time.
Yeah.
Versus you own, like when I really, and that's the next part of the business where it's like, when I look at all the black successful music business owners, it's like, they all died. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson dead, Prince dead. Well, what's my son's name? Was it Al Green? Just wanted to do some back in the day, but these were music business owners, and for their masters, they were done. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, if I'm gonna own something, at least let me know it's mine. I don't want to be in someone else's hands, but it's taking care of their children, and I'm like, I made this song for everybody, but at least let me know, like
you start eating, they start eating off, and you start.
I'm talking about they could put your record out when you dead, like grandson, Moonwalker Swizz is gone. Put that other song he got sitting there, put it out. We're gonna make more money. And it's like Michael Jackson is like, who's to say? I don't believe Michael Jackson is making money off his estate. I believe they sold it. But whoever has the rights to that, everything Michael Jackson in the near future that comes out, somebody else's kids is eating off that.
They set basically.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson was fighting to hold on to that while he was alive. While they saying, Michael Jackson is broke, Michael Jackson is this. It's like, son, I will never forget that show they did called Living with Michael Jackson. And your man is in the spot to about some big like artsy spot. Your man walking in there like, I want that one. I want the 5 of those over there. A broke man can't do that.
Yeah.
So all this chit, and that's the next thing, like the media, the same thing that builds you up can tear you down.
Think about it.
You know what I'm saying?
They do it one time, the next minute they can take it right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I write about this stuff in my music where it's like, like remember me this way. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's like, remember me in this way, because I and my immediate circle and Jesus himself know the facts. The media is totally against if I get to the top and start speaking some positive message. So you talk about I as a black man rise to the occasion, it's like, whoa, stop that. We gotta stop that. You know what I'm saying? Say something crazy about him where the weak and the simple will accept it. And that's the majority of the world.
All they think is a repost, they're reposting.
Quincy Jones just put out a story the other day, and he's the most viral thing right now. You heard what he said?
What do you think about that? Because I listen to it, I'm like, what the?
Listen, there's funny parts, and then there's parts where it's like, all right, it sounds believable, but it's just like, that was just crazy. But for me, I ain't gonna lie, Quincy Jones is just one of those people that I would love to have a sit down with and really get the game from, like. Because to me, I feel like he's seen the dark and the light side of the whole thing, everything. That's somebody where it's like, no, tell. Like there was a part in there, in that interview where he said something about, so you're they asked him, so you're close to the Clintons and this, that, and the third. And he brought it up where it's like, you seen it? Whatever she tried to hide, it just back into society. So can you imagine? And it's funny, I was just watching one of his documentaries and Bill Clinton is like, like the way he was expressing himself, like he has a love for Quincy Jones. But I'm like, why? Is it because he's really a nice guy, has a hold of mad secrets? You know what I'm saying?
That's the buzz beater right there.
Got mad secrets.
He know a lot, man.
Yeah, of course. You talk about this man has been alive. Like he's seen probably like 7 decades, 6, but the man is what, 80 something years old, talking about he got 22 girlfriends. Like, come on.
He knows better than me.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Quincy Jones though, he's definitely an inspiration.
Alright, so as far as like, you working on a tape or something?
Yes, I got a tape. I got a tape dropping come the spring. It's a 2-part mixtape called Mine. Okay. And the whole story to Mine is pretty much to take over New York City. You know what I'm saying? Just letting everybody know that now, wherever you're at. At first, it was a 24 mixtape track, but shout out to my son Johnny Handsome. Shout out to the whole TG Money. My son Johnny Handsome was like pretty much, he told me something that I knew, And so he just pretty much refreshed me to the information. It was like, yo, these people have short attention spans. So it's like, yo, give them 12 on one mixtape, give them 12 on another. So pretty much I broke it down, 12 here, 12 there. But it's, so, yeah. So, and it's very motion, like how a lot of times I write my music is very motion picture like. So so a lot of times it's like, what I like about my music is something like somebody like Irv Gotti's doing right now, where he's taking the music and making movies out of them. Mm-hmm. You can literally take my music and write full-length scripts. Like that's the thing I like about my bodies of work. Mm-hmm. You can literally like paint a picture. Mm-hmm. You just write a script and just shoot that.
So you have like songs for everybody, like females or
everybody,
everything?
No, everybody, everybody. I'm not wasting no time. Like that's my ultimate goal, to always have music for everybody. Because one thing I know for sure, two things I know for certain is, shout out to MC Hammer. One thing I learned from him was the fact you can't please everybody. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I put out my first mixtape called Just Wanted to See and Hear Your Reaction, like everybody had a certain song they liked. And I was like, granted, you might find people who will like your whole body of work. I found people like that. But then overall, I was just running to people who say, y'all like this song. Yo, this song was fire. Yo, Swizz, that song touched my heart, type of situation. So overall, I do keep people in mind when I make music. But at the same time, I'll be like, yo, listen, let me just express me. I know me expressing me will do everything it needs to do.
So the people, what can they expect from your tape? And expect from you for being in the rap, being in the industry? Because a lot of people out there in the industry, what makes you different and stand out from everybody else?
The foundation I stand on.
Okay.
The foundation that I stand on is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And this time and day right now, granted you got a Kendrick Lamar, and shout outs to Saha the Prince, his No Dope on Sundays, fire, very inspirational. There's not a lot of people who stand on their principles, you know what I'm saying? And I know for me, my rap, I'm not a Christian rapper, but I apply my everyday principles, what I believe in my music. So my music is not preachy, but you're gonna get those gems. That's the thing I like about how I write music, is like you can literally dissect it and pick whatever it is apart and make it work for you. So for the most part, it's like with everything going on in hip hop right now, when I look at hip hop in general, it's like the culture itself was built on something great. But now that everyone's skeletons is coming out, it's like, yo, this is very toxic. The behavior that takes place in here is like, I as a man, I will not stand for that. So if what I believe in separates me from everybody, at least I know my lane is settled. The only thing I have to do in my lane is continue to be great.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. All I gotta do is continue to be great. So if someone is throwing stones over here because I said something in my rhyme, okay, it's all good. I'm like I said, I'm not backing off what I said, and it's not like I'm throwing shots. Anytime I put something in my music and it say I'm talking about somebody, yo, you put your life out there in public. Mm-hmm. So I used you as an example to explain to the rest of the masses of probably what to do or what not to do. Because why? Your life, you made your life public. You're a public figure now. So understand, your life will become a punchline. Your life will become a punchline, metaphor, whatever it is that will make my boss crazy. Yo, listen, your life will be there. Yes, and I won't be no, for me, it's like, yo, listen, if you feel like you got to use something for me, go ahead. Like, I'm here for all the bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, I'm making myself a public figure. So anything I do in the public is like, I already know I'm about to turn into a punchline, a meme, this, that. However, whatever makes you happy.
Some people don't like that. Some people get offended by that.
Yeah, but it's like they should know it come with the game. Yeah. Like, what you gonna do? Yo, son, you made me a meme, and you try to use me to make do the funny. Like, yo, listen, get out your feelings. And that's not something I like to say, but people get emotional for stuff they do in public. It's like, yo, listen, if you didn't want it to be attacked, why did you do the stupid stuff you do? That's right. Like, you got to take ownership for your actions. And one thing I realize is, it's still a lot of people who don't know how to do that in this industry, especially when they get caught. They never say, yo, it's my fault, I take ownership for that. Yo, and Like, come on. Like, you as grown men and women, like, for real, like, you setting the example. And I'm not about to sit here and say I'm Mr. Perfect, but I know, like I said, I follow these principles and guidelines where as a man, I take ownership for my actions. I don't blame nobody. I don't blame you for my faults. I don't blame you for my success. You do your part and I'll do mine.
Alright. That's straight from Moonwalker Swizz itself. We're gonna take a quick break, stay back on Glow. We're gonna come back on Moonwalker Swizz.
Follow the culture.
Yeah, take a bills right quick, it's back now. So Moonwalker Swizz is in the building.
Yeah.
So let's take that you guys on any features or how's it looking?
No features. No features. Just be on my grind, me on my imagination and put into it, me with my information, me with my faith, and putting everything together where just, like I said, it's very cinematic. So for this mixtape, it was great experiences with my son Tone and Johnny Handsome, great experiences from being in California, great experiences from being down south. My understanding and knowledge about fashion, like I'm bringing it, this tape mine is really gonna make you feel like, damn, this is somebody really making me feel like I need to go to New York and just really live it up. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, it's the drive and ambition of someone who wants to make sure he and everything that he's attached to is successful. That's the whole idea, to show you that New York is literally about to be mine and in the palm of my hands. And with me having this type of power, it's like I won't stop people from blossoming. I'm not into that. But overall, just know that when I'm in charge, you're gonna see a lot of stuff around me be fruitful throughout the city and abroad.
So, all right. You mentioned you have a track on Kai.
Yeah, shout outs to Kaya Baby. I reached out to her the other day. The same thing. I knew Kaya since GX. I knew Kaya since, shout out to my DJ, G Money. They're family members, so I knew Kaya for a long time. Kaya been doing what she do for as long as I can remember. So I reached out to her not too long ago and said, yo, what's up? What's the numbers? She gave me the numbers, and let's just say she's about to get a couple tracks of her email, and we about to turn up history, and like I said, it's a beautiful thing that I'm working with people that I do care for. I'm working with people that I do support. So I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I can't be mad.
I see that you have a podcast now that's going on, but
shout outs to Battlefest.
All right.
So I'm working with my homeboy Reed to create a media outlet for dancers. So you see how for strictly dancers. So you see how Everyday Struggle with Joe Button and stuff like that, and they would tackling all the stuff that were happening currently within hip hop or pop culture. Pretty much we're doing the same thing, but with the dance communities.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we're creating a dance talk show, and that's really what it's about. So that premieres Monday, and you can log on to battlefestleague.com. You know what I'm saying? Or you could go follow him on his Instagram, Battlefest League. Shout out to my homeboy Dollars, Cal, Samantha. Those are my everyone that's hosting the show with me. Yeah.
How did y'all? Because I guess all y'all dance. Right?
To my understanding, I know me, Cal, Dollars dance. That was my first time meeting Samantha. She's the moderator of the show, and the director for the show, he's a dancer too. He doesn't dance publicly, to my understanding, like that anymore. But he's the one that brought the idea together. He reached out. He threw out a post on his Facebook, and I just jumped to the opportunity, like, yo, what's up? I'll do it. And he's like, oh yes, let's come through. And then he did whatever else he had to do to get the other dancers involved. And then after that, the show is Monday.
All right. What is it, once a week or how it goes?
I believe it's gonna be once a week, because how it's being filmed thus far, in my mind at least, I'm not the director, I'm not the one in charge, but in my mind, I feel like it's a once a week thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we basically interview dancers, they come up there and just talk about what's going on.
We're gonna be talking about everything currently from the past to right now, that's happening within the dance community, and I believe going forward, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of great guests. I believe a lot of great OGs or even people that are currently popping right now. I mean, the show, I see it having, it's gonna have a good run. It's gonna have a good run.
All right, so that's something different for you, interesting, right? That should be a good adventure for you.
Yeah, but that's not, the thing about that is, this is not the first time I'm doing this.
Okay, so you did it before.
Yeah, so in my past, shout outs to the whole World Dance family. I used to do another show, this was back between the years of 2007 and 2010. So I got introduced to things like Bright Cove and these type of things where it was really streaming platforms back then. I was educated on these type of things like ahead of the game, you know what I'm saying? And we used to host a show called World Dance TV. So I'm not new to hosting or doing these type of things where it's like I can stand in front of a television show, hold a camera, get crowds aroused and stuff like that. Like that's, to me at this point, it's natural. I've been doing it for so long.
So you basically do it all within you dance, music, you host parties. Like which one's your main go-getter? Which one's your head? Which one do you put first?
The dancing is what came first publicly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would stand on the dancing. But to me, I always desired the total package, which was the dancing, the acting, the music, all in one. So that was always been my thing because like I said, when I was young, Michael Jackson has just always been that guy for me where it's like, yo, like, man, like you sing, you dance, you act. And then on the other side of the coin, it was like somebody like Will Smith. You rap, you dance, you act. So either way, I'm gonna find my lane in between these two. Because to me, it was like, these two are very successful at what they do. So.
You haven't got the hit over yet? Being for my video, but I need you my video.
Lately, no. Like back in the past, yeah. Like I've been in like for dancing, I've been in front of a lot of great people.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I will never forget. Like, I've been in, listen. People don't understand. Like, lately I've been hearing people tell me like, the one thing that's golden about me is my personality. Like that's what I've been hearing a lot of people say. And for me, it's like I never thought of it like that. You know what I'm saying? My personality, I just look at it like, yo, listen, I have a lot of talent. I know who I am. And I don't have to try hard to impress anybody. I'm just who I am. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't bother me at all. Can't please everybody. So overall, when they started to tell me stuff like that, I took into consideration based on looking at like content that I have, where I could watch back and look at myself, and I said, you know what? Just keep being yourself, and it will become more. So it's not something that I will say, yo, I'm about to work on my personality or like no. I'm gonna just continue to be who I am and let that grow and let that shine on for itself. Because I feel like the minute I start to think about it, it's like it's gonna throw everything off. And that's not what I'm here for. Everything I want to be is natural every day from the start to the finish of my day.
Alright, do you have a specific DJ that you work with or?
For this mixtape, I'm working with Johnny Hanson. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying in general, like.
Oh, in general?
Yeah.
G Money.
G Money.
G Money, Team G Money to the world, action girl.
I just dropped the mixtape and he actually posted, so that was.
The one you've been promoting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
So that's kind of dope. It's crazy how everybody knows each other, and then yeah.
It's a 6 degrees of separation, but I was told in college I always know the first person. So,
any producers that you work with or that you want to work with or that you?
For these mixtapes per se, these are not original beats.
Okay.
The original beats that I do have will be put out later.
So
this is just for promotional use. Yeah. I'm just showing people how great my pen is. That's really it.
This is just grabbing it.
Yeah. That's it. It's all for promotional use. Get everybody a taste of like, oh, like what the hell? Shoot videos to them. Just to, like I said, it's from promotion. I know how to promote myself. So for the most part with that, that's how that's gonna work. But when you start to hit original content, then that's gonna be a different ballgame. I already put out one original song. It was called Hot for the Holidays. That's on my SoundCloud at Moonwalker Swizz. But besides that, I'm gonna start throwing out more. But the only reason I haven't thrown out as much because I'm like, okay, 99 cents goes a long way, you know.
All right, for people who want to be where you at or trying to do something you don't have that extra push or help, what words would you give them to inspire them?
Believe in yourself. Love yourself. Your dream requires your attention from the start of the day to the end of the day. If nobody supports you, remember you support you. That is my drive. I mean, for me, based on my faith, I thank God for His word that encourages me daily to just push the bar. Because for me, it's like, when I found out how to love myself and knew that besides human beings, that someone above human beings loves me more than anything, yo, I could care less. For me, that's all the motivation I need. Where it's like, yo, listen, I could care less what men say. I care about what I want to leave on the world. What is that message? Yo, I did everything that I want to do on this earth with my Lord and Savior. I thanked Him day in, I repented day out. You know what I'm saying? So for how anybody else feel, it don't move me. If your judgments are not righteous, you don't even move me more. So it's like, you're chatting for what? That's why I don't listen to everybody. Because you're wasting your words.
Yeah.
Unless you're really telling me something where it's like, yo, and it's like, for me to be a better person, it's like, yo, it's like, yo, you wasting your words. This is where my ears become deaf to you, because it's like, yo, you chatting for what? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I noticed with a lot of people is there's too much chatting going on. There's too much chatting, you know what I mean? Like, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. I think people should be doing more listening these days than talking. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, you could find what it is you need if you would listen more. If you're one to just, yo, like you feel like everybody need to hear you, when do you hear anything else? You know what I'm saying? Do you pay attention to when the breeze blow? Do you pay attention to when certain things that's just that you yourself can't really tap into, but you get that revelation of like, damn, I got that by listening. And a lot of good stuff comes when you listen. A lot of good stuff comes when you listen. But to anybody out there who's listening right now, believe in yourself. If you believe in my Lord and Savior, then make sure that's at the front of your whole situation. Remember, He created. The creations do not come before the Creator.
That's a fact. I appreciate you coming kicking with us, man. Let people know where they can find you, look your music up, man.
Yo! Like, this is what we're gonna do, so I'm about to air it out. First and foremost, make sure you tap into Follow the Culture. That's one. Make sure you follow my boys at Follow the Culture on Instagram. That's one. You can follow me at More Than Dancing for my IG. You can follow me at Moonwalker Swizz on my YouTube. Go on my SoundCloud, on my Twitter. But remember that Follow the Culture on IG. More Than Dancing on IG. Moonwalker Swizz on Twitter, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And shout outs to my homeboy DJ G Money. Make sure you follow him on all his platforms. DJ G Money 156 for sure. Shout outs to my son Johnny Handsome. Make sure you follow him on all his platforms. Johnny Handsome. He's a part of the union. Shout outs to my homeboy Lennox, DJ Lennox. I mess with all the DJs. I'm telling y'all this for a reason. Y'all need to have great relationships with the DJ. You artists that are out there, granted you could get your music out there by a click of a button, but it's ill to have relationships. Relationships is better than money. So a lot of things can go far with the right relationships. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. What else? Shout outs to Battlefest. Make sure y'all tune in on Monday at battlefestleague.com for the new talk show called The Mix for all dancers. But it's going to be something not just for dancers, but it's something very educational you can learn from, get a little laugh, and whatever it is you want out of the show. What else? Shout out to my boy Baker. Shout out to everybody in the port. Shout out to my boy Wayne. Shout out to my boy Big. Shout out to Crumbs. The whole DBL movement. My boy K-Bud. Shout out to my boy Earl. There's a lot of shout outs. Shout outs to Kaya. Shout outs to MU. Shout outs to my boy Tiny. Shout outs to Queens. Shout outs to Brooklyn. Shout outs to my peoples in Florida. Cali, what's up? E.T. Vega, Ray. And above all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank you to U HUB. Thank you to DTF Radio and everybody affiliated with these movements. Shout outs to y'all. Let's continue to have fun and let's continue to push the culture forward in light, love, and positivity.
Do it. You already know this boy L. U HUB Live. Next Saturday we'll be in the building. Stay locked, don't go nowhere. Hopefully I have Nathia G and DJ Young Prince in the building with us. And like I said, I appreciate you for coming kicking with us.
Likewise.
Moonwalker Swizz himself is here.
Yo, that's right. But yo, oh yeah, shout outs to Boom Shats. Yeah, Uncle Eli Paul 6, what's up?
Come on.
Oh, damn, I can't even.